I'm Carly Van Iver, and coming up next, I'll tell you how the opioid crisis is affecting classrooms all over the Mountain State.
If stress is getting the best of you, you might want to hit the mat and give yoga a try. It's an ancient practice with modern-day results. I'm Claudia Sessa, and I'll explain coming up next on WVU News.
I'm Sheila Klein, and straight ahead, I'll tell you how this device is causing health problems for teens across the nation. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now.
West Virginia and Appalachia have been struggling for decades to combat the issues that plague the region, making it an uphill climb to prosperity for those who live here. I'm Christine Robinson.
And I'm Claudia Sessa. This week on our special edition show, we will be looking at how the Mountain State and its people are finding ways to solve the issues surrounding the place they call home.
And now for our special edition show, in the heart of Appalachia, searching for solutions.
The opioid crisis has had lasting effects on the people of West Virginia, but one of the state's most vulnerable demographics is getting hit hard by the epidemic.
Now more than ever, the issue is hitting close to home, and it's affecting education across the state. Carly Van Iver joins us from Social Square to tell us more. Carly?
57 out of every 100,000 people in West Virginia overdosed from drugs in 2017, which was the highest in the country and 2.5 times higher than the national average. And while most of the focus goes towards the addicts and their treatment, there's a forgotten segment of the population that's seriously affected.
The number of children being impacted by the statewide opioid epidemic keeps increasing every year. These children are bringing experiences of neglect, trauma, and mental health issues with them to school, and teachers are seeing effects in the classrooms.
So if we have parents that are addicted to drugs, children coming in with their basic needs are not their first priority. So we're seeing kids that are hungry, we're seeing kids who are not clothed, we're seeing kids who are not sleeping, so we're seeing kids that just don't have that basic need being met.
And Nichols goes on to say that in the classroom, that equates to not meeting their academic needs if they don't have their basic needs of food and clothing. But the kids aren't the only ones being affected. A new study done by WVU researchers found that this is taking a serious toll on the teachers.
And while 70% of West Virginia teachers claim that they've seen a significant increase in students being impacted by substance abuse in the home, only 10% say that they feel confident in knowing how to support those children.
But the researchers came up with a plan that they believe will make a positive impact on the teachers and the state.
Some of the things we observed is that teachers are already going to each other for help and support. They're using each other as resources. So we want to actually build upon that. We want to promote some sort of a buddy or mentoring system.
Teachers are hoping that additional training and resources will soon be implemented statewide. Carly Van Iver, WVU News, Morgantown.
Teachers will receive additional training to learn how to deal with these situations, and resources such as helplines and support groups will be provided. To learn more, you can visit the link at the bottom of your screen.
Thanks, Carly. Drug overdoses killed more than 72,000 people in America last year alone. And with West Virginia recently awarded more than $14 million to combat the opioid epidemic, our state is hoping to decrease those numbers. I spoke with a recovering addict who reflects on his addiction.
Before John Dower began working at the West Virginia Sober Living Home, he was struggling to keep his life on the right track. As a young adult, his addiction began when he started using substances. After being in multiple car accidents, Dower realized the prescribed opioids helped him forget about all of his pain.
The opiates didn't just work for the physical pain, but they also worked for emotional pain. And once I learned that behavior, I started replicating it even without the need for pain medication for physical symptoms.
At 31 years old, his road to recovery was not an easy one, but being around others in the community who were already on their journey with recovery motivated him to get better.
They were individuals that really cared about me and were not judgmental and were there to help me really before I could even help myself.
Misuse of prescription opioids affects an estimated 15 million people worldwide each year, but only 2 million people get the help that they need. And before coming to a sober living home, people need to detox.
Here at the new WVU Medicine Center for Hope and Healing, those with a substance use disorder go through a 28-day recovery period that provides a blend of care. Director of the center, Emily Reel, says this is exactly what the state needs.
We have access to a lot of the greatest physicians, research, resources to provide the best care that we can.
Dower turned his life around with a program similar to this one, and he is so thankful for where he is now in life.
I'm a full-time student at WVU, a father. I sponsor multiple guys in 12-step rooms. So my life has flourished, and it was just because, you know, somebody gave me a second chance to do something that I didn't have skills at. And now it's much, much, much different.
Dower just recently celebrated 7 years of sobriety.
People who complete an addiction treatment program of at least 30 days have a higher degree of success in achieving sobriety and remaining drug-free long-term. To learn more about the WVU Medicine Center for Hope and Healing, visit the address at the bottom of your screen.
4 out of 5 college students drink alcohol, and roughly 50% of those students binge drink. However, there is a solution in sight. Serenity Place helps students overcome alcoholism and other addictions. I went there to see exactly what types of programs are set up to combat these addictions. It's an all too familiar scene at college campuses across the nation, consuming and drinking large amounts of alcohol. According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, over 150,000 college students develop an alcohol-related health problem. Morgantown Police Chief Ed Preston says the culture of drinking has changed in Morgantown over the past 5 years.
In taking the emphasis away from the consumption, the unfettered access and consumption of alcohol has changed significantly that that emphasis. And so if the emphasis is not on getting drunk, the emphasis is on coming to school, and the emphasis is the college experience.
And while that's good news for WVU, who in the past has been named a top 10 party school in the nation, there are still people who become dependent on alcohol while they are in college. People self-medicate using alcohol for a lot of reasons, many of them stemming from a mental health disorder such as social phobia or general anxiety.
In fact, nearly 37% of people with alcohol dependence suffer from some form of disorder. But research from the Mayo Clinic shows yoga's power to fight anxiety and stress.
Not only do poses like this downward dog yoga pose de-stress, they may also increase brain function and lower anxiety, making it less likely for people to self-medicate with drugs or alcohol. For yoga instructor Nicole Koval, addiction runs in her family, and she saw instructing yoga for addiction as a chance to give back.
Alcoholism and drug addiction run in my family. The most important person in my life that suffers from addiction is my sister. We're 10 years apart, so she's my baby sister, and she has struggled with addiction for many years.
And behind these walls, Serenity Place also offers help to recovering addicts through nutrition classes, mindfulness workshops, and sober jams. Students needing help with addiction to alcohol or drugs can visit the Serenity Place website to learn more by following the link at the bottom of your screen.
Nearly 1 in 3 high school seniors are using vapes, and stores like Rite Aid have recently decided to take these devices off the shelves to prevent teens from buying them.
That's right, Christine. And parents and officials are concerned about the increase in vaping among teens. Shayla Klein joins us now from Studio B with more on vaping's effects. Shayla?
Many teens are underestimating the health risks of vaping. And why wouldn't they? With flavors like strawberry, vanilla, and apple pie, vapes seem harmless enough. But a new study shows that e-cigarettes are just as addictive as traditional ones, and they're just as bad for your health. Vaping has become the new craze among teens as young as middle school. The devices are small enough to be mistaken for a USB drive, and they don't leave any noticeable smell, making them accessible and easy to hide. 19-year-old Kazan Castillo said he started vaping because his friend said it would help his anxiety. He decided to quit when he found out that his health was at risk.
My doctor had told me that I grew out of my asthma, but it started coming back because of the vape.
Just one Juul pod contains as much nicotine as 20 cigarettes, and it only takes one cigarette to get addicted. And WVU researchers are finding that it's not just your lungs that are at risk when you vape. Dr. Ulfert is leading a study on how using a vape affects the heart and blood vessels.
We're finding that they're simply not even safer than cigarettes. They're just as bad in terms of creating the types of problems that people have with their blood vessels.
The blood vessels in mice that have been exposed to the vape were shown to be more than 3 times stiffer than unexposed mice. And when blood vessels are stiffer, it's harder for blood to pump through. Though they're not sure why these changes are occurring, Dr. Ulfert thinks it might have to do with the vape juice.
Another misconception that's out there is that this is water vapor. It's not. It's a petroleum. It's an oil.
now that research has shown that vaping causes some harmful effects. The next step for Dr. Alfert's team is getting down to those specific causes and determining exactly how much harm vaping causes. But here's what experts do know. Vaping raises your blood pressure and spikes your adrenaline, which could increase your likelihood of having a heart attack. In fact, the FDA recently received an increase in reports of seizures after vaping. While the exact cause is unknown, some experts speculate that it could be nicotine poisoning. We'll know more after the FDA finishes their analysis. Now back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Thanks, Shayla, for that report.
Coming up after the break, Brooke Hawthorne joins us in the studio to tell us more about the LGBTQ plus Pride event that took place right here in Morgantown.
But that's not why they call us Mountaineers. It's because we don't let anything stand in our way. We build what's never been built, seek cures for the incurable, and go first into undiscovered frontiers. We are Mountaineers, and impossible is just another mountain to climb.
Welcome back to our special edition show in the heart of Appalachia, searching for solutions.
The city of Morgantown recently had one big bash for a good cause.
Brooke Hawthorne joins us now in the studio to tell us more. Brooke?
Thanks, Claudia. Christine. Activists and supporters for the LGBTQ plus community came out in full force to show their pride. Remember, West Virginia legalized same-sex marriage in 2014, but that left members of the LGBTQ plus community wondering, what's next? Morgantown Pride hosted their first ever block party to raise awareness and educate the public about the LGBTQ plus community. I caught up with some people attending the event.
Hundreds of Morgantown residents within and outside of the LGBTQ plus community came to the first ever Morgantown Pride block party. More than 50 performers came from all over the state to entertain the audience.
Especially in a state like West Virginia, there's been so many people that I have met that have been, discriminated against, and they feel like nobody is really here for them, nobody is really like them. And it's nice to see such a turnout today to know that there are a lot of people around here like me, like this, and I can be myself around these people.
West Virginia is home to about 58,000 adults who identify as LGBTQ+, which is about 4% of the adult population.
West Virginia is the least diverse state in the country. This event was held to raise awareness and acceptance throughout the community.
I'm a very proud Mountaineer, and I think it's really important for us to try to make our state a more inclusive, more diverse place, and let people realize that we're not all that different.
While West Virginia is the least diverse state in America, it has the highest percentage of teens who identify as transgender. And the percentage of people in the LGBTQ plus community who live in West Virginia has been on the rise every year.
It's just exciting to know that there are so many people like me at the end of the day. There's so many people that can be free to be whoever they want and live their life the way that they want to.
Morgantown Pride is a local organization that provides social and educational resources for the LGBTQ plus community, friends, and allies in Mon County.
Members of Morgantown Pride say their main focus is to sponsor and participate in events and programs. Their purpose is to enrich the Morgantown area and affirm the value of LGBTQ plus people within our state. They also provide social and educational resources for the LGBTQ plus community.
Thanks, Brooke. I love to hear about so much positivity in our state, Claudia.
Well, that's it for our special edition of WVU News. You can visit us online on our website.
You can also watch our shows on YouTube, and please follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Christine Robinson.
And I'm Claudia Sessa. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.